It's going to work. All right, we're live. Okay, so today's objective is we are going to be simplifying rational expressions. We're going to reduce, multiply, and divide. Okay, write that down. So the word rational means fraction. In math, when you see the word rational, it just means fraction, okay? So divided by 0. Let's talk about that first. 1 divided by 0. And even your calculator agrees with me. Even your calculator agrees with Cookie Monster. If you were to go 1 divided by 0, okay, divide by 0, right? Because we know that what happens is really if you take and divide by 0, you're approaching infinity. And infinity is not a number. Okay, infinity is not a number. It can't be a number, right? Because you can never get to it. Infinity is only an idea. It's a conceptual idea. So it cannot happen. Okay, so if we divide by 0, then our problem is going to fall apart. In fact, what happens, we saw in last night's homework, that when we do divide by 0, hold on, let me get back to last night's homework because it's worth seeing. When we do divide by 0, we go to infinity, don't we? On our graphs. We go to infinity, okay? So knowing that, let's first take a look at example 1. It says, what are the excluded values, okay? Well, this looks like a problem that needs to be factored. This problem needs to be factored. So let me refactor. I'm going to factor parentheses, 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 parentheses. Parentheses, 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 parentheses. Okay, let's see if we remember how to factor. Okay. God bless you. Okay, Carlos, help me out. What times what makes 6? Good. Give me another answer. You're totally right. Give me another answer.
2 times 3.
I like 2 times 3 because there's a 1 there, and I'm going to go x plus 3, x minus 2. So you were right. 1 times 6 is correct, but let's use 3 and 2. And I want to use a positive 3 and a negative 2 because that will make my positive 1, right? Remember factoring? Okay, 1. What times what makes 8? 4 times 2. Perfect. And let's use a positive 4 and a negative 2, right? Because 4 times 2 makes 8, but I need a positive 4 and a negative 2 to make the positive 2, okay? Remember how to factor? Now, what are my excluded values, okay? X cannot be negative 4. What would happen if x were negative 4? Right here. If x were negative, x cannot equal negative 4. Well, negative 4 plus 4 is what? And you're dividing by 0, right? What else can x not equal? 2, right? What if x are 2? If x were 2? 2 minus 2 is what? 0, and you cannot divide by 2. So those are my excluded values. Now this problem can actually be simplified. Let's simplify it. And when I say simplify, let's go back to our warm-up. We were able to cancel, right? In our warm-up, we were able to cancel. Well, what do you see that we can cancel? X minus 2 with x minus 2. See how I do that? Boom, boom, x minus 2, yes. So I'm just going to reduce and simplify, and I get an answer of x plus 3 over x plus 4. Okay, now, it is super tempting to cancel x's, isn't it? You say, oh, I can cancel x with x's, but don't. And I want to show you why. So x plus 3 is divided by x plus 4. Let me just give you an example. If I had, for instance, let's say I've got 5 plus 3 over 5 plus 4. This is just an example. Over 5 plus 4. There we go. Okay. This is just an example. Okay. Side note. The answer should be 8 ninths. You guys agree with that? It's got to be 8 ninths. But what if you cancel the 5s? What's the answer? It can't be. So you get a different answer, don't you? So it really is 8 divided by 9. And in this case, x plus 3, you don't know what x is, right? So you can't go any further because we know the value of x. You're done. Okay? Now, domain. Domain is, well, what can x be? Well, in this problem, x can be everything. X, I can plug in any number in for x except, I can plug in any number for x except negative 4 and 2. So the domain is, what can x be? X can equal all real numbers. I can plug in everything. Everything. Any number I can plug in except x cannot equal negative 4 and x cannot equal 2. Okay? Does that make sense? Those are the excluded values, right? It can be everything, anything, but not those two values, okay? All right, example 2. Simplify each expression and find the excluded value. So first of all, right off the bat, I know x cannot equal 0. You guys agree with that? Can't be 0. Because if I'd have 6 times 0 squared is 0, divide by 0, I'm bad. But I do want to do this. Just like I factored up here, I want to factor this one. So if I factor the numerator, that's the top. If I factor the numerator, that's the top of the first fraction, I can common factor out a 2. They have a common multiple of 2, and they also both have x squared in common. So if I common factor out a 2x squared, I'd have an x minus 4 left over in the numerator over my 6x squared, okay? And now if I can simplify, I can cancel x squared with x squared, and this will become a 1/3. See the 1/3? So the answer I want is, here's my 1/3 with my x minus 4. So we just simplified, just like our warm-up. We just reduced and simplified, but with x's, okay? Okay, example 3. Let's factor. Okay, let's factor. So I'm going to have to factor on the top, and factor on the bottom, okay? Factor, okay? All right, Elise, what times what makes 4? Yes, perfect. You could go 2 and 2, but she's smarter than that. She realized that 1 and 4 will give you a 5. You guys agree with that? So how about an x minus 1 and an x minus 4, okay? Let's see. Elena, what times what makes 1? What times what makes 1?
1.
Perfect. 1 and 1, let's use a negative 1 and a negative 1, okay? Awesome. So first of all, excluded values. X better not equal what? Come on, you guys. X better not equal 1. Thanks, Carly. That's my excluded value for sure. And what do you see that we can simplify? What can we cancel? Yeah, x minus 1 for an x minus 1. You can't cancel both, but 1 for 1, x minus 1, x minus 1. So then my answer is going to be x minus 4 over x minus 1. Boom. Hey, this isn't that hard, is it? If you can factor, that's the key to this whole lesson. If you can factor, this is not a hard lesson. Okay, you ready to turn the page? All right. Well, it's just a bigger version. So we're going to factor. We're going to factor, okay? So, all right. First fraction, parentheses, right? Because we're going to factor. Second fraction, We're going to factor, right? We're going to factor, right? Okay. Carlos, what times what makes 3? I know I gave you a hard one, Carlos. I take one of the smartest kids. I gave him such a hard problem. What times what makes 3?
1.5.
Oh, I'm making it too hard for you. 3 and 1. How's that?
Yeah.
You okay with 3 and 1? How about an x minus 3, x plus 1? Okay. Carly, what times what makes 1?
1.
Let's use a positive 1 and a negative 1, okay? Right? Riley, I'm going to give you the hard one. What times what makes 63? 9 and 7, right? Yeah. 9 and 7. Let's use a negative 9 and a positive 7. Because I need to make a negative 2, don't I? Right? Elise, what times what makes 21? Perfect. How about a positive 7 and a negative 3, right? I know x cannot equal negative 1, x cannot equal 1, x cannot equal negative 7, and x cannot equal 3. You guys agree with that? If it's negative 1, makes it 0. If it's positive 1, makes it 0. If it's negative 7, it makes it 0. If it's positive 3, it makes it 0. Okay? Now, what can we do? Let's do the fun stuff. This is the part I always like to do. Let's cancel, cancel, cancel. What do you see? What can cancel? Anything on the top with anything on the bottom. What do you see? What can cancel? Come on, Carly, be brave. What can cancel?
I don't know if you can cancel like 1 plus 1 and minus 1.
You can cancel this x plus 1 with this x plus 1, right? So let's cancel that. And you can even cancel all the way across anything on the top, anything on the bottom, right? Even this here, I can even cancel this x minus 3 with this x minus 3. Anything on the top with anything on the bottom, because it's kind of like what we did over here, right? Is there anything else I can cancel? Yeah, the 7. It's x plus 7 with x plus 7. Now, I think I'm done, right? I think I've canceled everything I can, because you can't really cancel the x's. We've talked about that. So my answer is going to be an x minus 9 over an x minus 1. Okay? So this stuff's not that bad if you can factor, right? All comes down to factor, okay? Example 5. Well, before I do anything, I'm going to flip the second fraction, right? All right, x squared plus 2x minus 15 over x squared minus 3x minus 40 times, I'm going to flip it, right? X squared plus a 1x, and put the 1 there, minus 72. It's going to help me over x squared plus 8x minus 9. Okay? So I flipped the first fraction, or the second fraction, right? So you're going to divide, you have to flip the second fraction. So flip this one. And now, we're going to need to factor. So, all right, parentheses, 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 parentheses. We're going to factor times, factor, parentheses, parentheses. Okay, all right. So I need a factor. And now, let's see what I have. Well, all right. 1, what times what makes 15? Awesome. How about an x plus 5x minus 3, right? That makes sense. Elise, what times what makes 40? How about 8? How about 8 and 5, okay? And how about we make it a negative 8 and a positive 5, right? Okay, Carly, what times what makes 72?
9 and 8.
Yes! Somebody knows their times facts. Thank you, Carly. How about a positive 9 and a negative 8? Hallelujah. Glad somebody can do their times. And then Riley, what times what makes 9? 3 and 3, yes. Totally correct. But give me another combination because I need to make an 8. Yeah. So let's go x minus 1 and x plus 9. Nice job, Riley. So here comes the fun part. Okay, first of all, x cannot equal 8. X cannot equal negative 5. X cannot equal 1. And x cannot equal negative 9. Okay, those are my excluded values. Because if it's any of those, I divide by 0, divide by 0, I divide by 0, and divide by 0, right? Okay, now, here comes the fun part. What am I going to cancel? What do you guys see? Minus 8 with a minus 8. And even though they're all the way across, it doesn't matter. Anything on the top with anything on the bottom. Good job, Carly. What else can I cancel? Okay, plus 9 with a plus 9. Good. And there should be one more thing. What's that? Plus 5 with plus 5, right? Plus 5 with plus 5. And so what am I left with? X minus 3 over an x minus 1. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Thumbs up. All right, so homework. It's going to be page 183, 1 through 10. Oh. Okay, and I think, see if it's, well, you stop. Stop.